Hello and welcome to this special Christmas event of Origin of Concepts. That's a mistletoe, and we'll talk about that later. Okay, let me get my glasses on. There you are. Okay, the Christmas is just around the corner, so why don't make this Christmas extra special by understanding its roots? Today, we're gonna look at the origin of celebrating Christmas and the birth of Christ. So hang on. The tradition around Christmas time is much older than Christianity and was primarily the celebration of the return of the Milky Way center and not the winter solstice as many suggest. Winter solstice was also a part of some kind of celebration, but that was not the primary reason. Christmas originated to Christianize pagan traditions by an early Christian effort to place the celebration of Jesus' birth on December 25th as a strategy to overrule the Roman Saturnalia festival, which celebrated Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun. Keep that in mind, the unconquered sun. I'll get into the Saturn and Satan and Sol Invictus concepts in a later video. The Celtic Yule tradition, Alban Arthan, who later became the legendary King Arthur, also originated long before Christmas. The Druids celebrated the rebirth of spirit light, the Oak King's growing power over the Holy King. The Oak King power over the Holy King. They burned decorated oak logs and spread the ashes to sustain fertility. Okay. Let's have a look at my Milky Way picture here. So, then I'll try to draw some lines to make you understand. And it's late night now, so I have to be a little extra focused on my notes. To understand the Druids and the rebirth of spirit light, and the Oak King, the man in the tree, he actually looks like a tree man face, and his growing power over the Holy King. The Milky Way is, of course, the oak in heaven. And when an old oak is falling, a new grow up. So the oak is the Milky Way, and the ashes they spread to sustain fertility is represented by the fume above the disk. You know, something's burning, and then you got the ash, and you spread it, and it all starts over. So, or I can explain it another way. The disk is burning, and the ash falls back to the earth and make a cycle of life or reincarnation of spirit or whatever you like to call it. Okay, but even before the pagan celebrations, the ancient Egyptians celebrated the raising of the jet pillar at the Sokar festival, symbolizing Osiris' resurrection to maintain cosmic order. And that was a long time ago. Christianity doesn't even was in the mind yet of the creators. In the Nordic and Celtic legends about the tree of life, the large oak or ash falls over and a new tree grows up from its trunk. A new tree growing up matches exactly the raising of the jet pillar in ancient Egypt, because on December 25th, the Milky Way started raising its position from horizontal to vertical. So the Milky Way reached its horizontal point, and from December 25th, it started raising again. The great pillar in the sky has risen. Do you know anybody else who has risen? Okay, but there's more. There's more. In the morning on December 25th, just before sunrise, the light from the disk in the Milky Way center reappears after being visually out of sight for months. So the light is coming back after it has been hitting behind the sun for a while. Since Halloween, to be precise. I will get into Halloween in another video, because Halloween and Christmas are like this, hanging together like this. Two of the most important, what should we call it, celebrations or cosmic events in the yearly cycle. So, okay. By the way, this cosmic event does not appear in the Christmas season any longer because of the precession of the equinox. You know, the Earth is wobbling like a, and the sky image is like going below the horizon. So now we can maybe see it in the summertime or there. I don't even explore it, but it's over and out. You can't see it with the naked eyes anymore. Okay, let's move on and get some more details about the Christmas concepts. The concepts regarding the birth of Christ. We all know the story that the rumors went over the country that a new son will be born. And therefore, some wise men draw out to look for him. The wise man is represented by the stripes in the striped shadow emerging east of the disk. So let's draw it. Here is the disk, and all those lines in the striped shade represent the wise men. And the Bible does not mention any numbers of wise men. So maybe it's time to let go of the picture in your head of 3 Eastern men riding camels in the desert. Because I have it here, and now it's like, pff. because there was no men from the East in real life visiting anyone. Okay. Let me see, and where did I reach? Here, the wise men there. And by the way, in many of the world myth, the striped shadow is often used to visualize bystanding crowds. So, and that's more than 3 or 4 myths. So, which is older than Christianity. So, they got it from somewhere else. Okay. The wise men brought different gifts, such as gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And of course, those presents can also be found in the Milky Way center, because myrrh is the amber-colored disc. Here is the myrrh. And then we got the gold, which is the light of the disk. So all the golden parts of the Milky Way is the gold. And what about the frankincense? It is also the disk, the grainy disk. And when you burn frankincense, it makes a foggy fume, which can be located above the disk, like always. The foggy fume. And I'm pretty sure at some time the fume will fall back and make some kind of recreation of something. Okay. And then we got the star over Bethlehem. This subject has haunted me for at least 15 or 20 years, or maybe longer, because I have been looking for that star everywhere, in every scripture, you name it. And but as with so many other things, the star over Bethlehem is not even a star. The star over Bethlehem is the blazing star in the center of the Milky Way. This is the star over Bethlehem. And if we look closer into symbolic of the star over Bethlehem, you will always see it. I'll try to draw it, because it have a special shape. And it could look like it have like a long tail down here, and then it got smaller, something like this, like a comet or something like that. So now you know why. And of course, the long spike represent the spirit runs into the physical world through the stairway to heavens. Okay. And then we got the little newborn son in his cave, or stable, as some people express it. Christ was born in a cave, used as an animal shelter. And here we got to be specific, because it was no stable. It was a cave. the little child was born in a cave. And this cave, let's see here. This cave is here. And all the animals, or bystanding animals, like usual, is a striped shadow. And here is the light of the world born. I'll change the color for the next drawing. Okay, what else do we know? The newborn child in the crib. So where do we find the newborn child in a crib? We know that the disc is the head of the newborn child, and we know that this is his body. The newborn child is represented by the disc, his head, and the striped shadow, his body. The stripes in the striped shade is the swaddles around him. You know. And in other concepts, older concepts, the striped shadow also represent the bandages of the mummy. So this is also a mummy. But I'll get back to that in another video. Okay, enough of the little newborn child in the cave. Oh, very, very important, because he's laying in a crib. So where's the crib? Of course, the crib is here. Welcome, little child, to the world. The Milky Way center is the big crib in the sky, also used in other myths. Okay, let's go to another exciting part, the Christmas tree. The crown of the old Christmas tree is the entire Milky Way center. You remember, it's falling to the ground, so now you can reach the crown of the old tree. The new Christmas tree is the striped shadow with the Bethlehem star, the disc on the top. So here you see the Christmas tree. And on top you got the blazing star of Bethlehem. Fantastic, right? And I think I forgot something here to tell you, because no, I didn't. It's just because I've made 2 videos in a row, so you know, it's still gluing to my mind. Okay. Then we got the sugar cane. The sugar cane is the shepherd's crook, represented by the shadow above the disc. The handle is the grey shadow to the right of the disc, and the hook is the shadows hooking around the disc. Let me try to draw that, because this is always the handle at the hook here. And then it does like this. Like this. And the sugar cane is colored with red and white. This is, by the way, an ancient concept from Egypt. You know, the pharaohs hold a flail and a crook in his hands. And the shepherd use the crook to gain the cattle. So this is a very, very old tradition to use this symbolism. Christianity always find the good things, right? And pass them on. You know, that's great. Or we will never have learned about it. Okay, let me find the red color. The sugar stick or sugar cane, or the white color of the cane, represent purity and virgin birth. Purity and virgin birth. We know that the virgin is the white part of the Milky Way center. You saw that in some of the previous videos, so I don't have to draw the female again. And the red part, I have to draw them so you can see them. The red stripes, you know, they coil like a serpent around the tree. The red color and the cane represent the blood of Christ, aka the red glow from the disk in the Milky Way center. The red color of the Milky Way is the blood of Christ. Now you know. Let me try to undo some of the cane stuff here. We keep the Christmas tree because I like it. Actually, I'm good at painting trees. Yeah. Okay. On the Christmas tree, we got balls. And those balls represents the fruit in the tree. It's the same fruit as in the Adam and Eve story. The fruit in the tree. In the shape of the many-colored stars among the striped shadow in the Milky Way center. Because in this section of the Milky Way, we got a lot of colored stars. So therefore, the real way to put balls on your Christmas tree is to use a lot of different colors, as many as possible, and mixed with gold. Then you got the authentic Christmas tree. Okay. So that's basically, yeah. And then we put presents below the Christmas tree. Because the one and only not prison, but present on this earth is wisdom. And wisdom is running from the disk through the gateway to the heavens, or the stairway to heavens, down under the tree so we can open it up. So that's the meaning of presents. The greatest gift you can ever have, wisdom or spirit, Okay, enough of Christmas trees. I think you got it now. And the next one is very special for me because that's the bell or bells. And I have spent so much time, exploring how bells originated and why it's in all cultures around the world. And bells is just something special. Bells is just bells. And I finally found the bell, and now I'll pass it on to you. The bell is, of course, the Milky Way center. This is the great bell of the sky. You see the bell? Maybe I can do it like this. Wait. Oh, I'll remove this. Maybe it will be more appropriate to do like this. And inside the bell, we have, I can't even remember the name, the clapper, a ball that makes the bell ring, of course. We got here. So here is your bell, which for thousands of years have waked you up every morning and ringed when you have to get home and make something to eat at dinner time. But this is where the bell comes from. This is why bells is so loved all around the world. It's not even Christian. It's way back to, I don't even know. Okay, and I will draw another bell, but that's also a bell, but the jingle bell, because I actually I'll wait with that for another time. This is the jingle bell here, and here's the ball inside the jingle bell. Actually, the movie with Tom Hanks, The Christmas Express, I think the name is, was a wake up call to solve this mystery. The little boy, and there's nothing in the bell. It's empty, and only in his imagination he can hear the sound, and then. So here it is, the bell. Okay. And then we got twisted garlands and lights. You twist them around the tree all the way to the top. And the twisted garland and lights origin from the ancient pre-Christian concept of a snake coiled around a pole. And it is, of course, represented by the striped shadow emerging from the disc and the coiled serpent heading for the disc. So here you got, the tree, you got the disc, and here you got the serpent on its way to the top of the tree, or to the top of the staff, or to the spirit. That's why serpents is connected to spirit. Serpents is one of the most heavy animals, not heavy, but it's one of the most used animals to represent spirit because of the striped shade. Okay. Let's move on. Next, we got the wreath, and it should be pretty easy to you to see the wreath. The Christmas wreath is here. You know, with all its leaves or stuff like that. Because it surrounds the disc, the light, or the new coming light, or the resurrection of light, or new beginning, or victory, or whatever. So here's the wrath. Okay, let's see what we else got here. This is like an overall information. You know, every time we make something with green leaves, with colored berries, it represents the greenish olive colored part of the Milky Way with the colored stars. So this area here, you know, it's what we call the green area of the Milky Way, but basically there's many greens area. But this is always here, and you know the red berries, there are two there, and here, and there's a lot of red stars. So that's the green stuff. And then we got some Nordic traditions. We got the straw goat, julebuk. And that's a little cryptic because in the northern traditions, the Milky Way center is the goat head because it looked like a goat. And in some stories, the goat is also represented by the striped shadows because it looked like small goats, you know, here. So it can both be the big goat here. I don't know how to make goats, but I'll try try the best I can. You know, it's something like this, and of course the eye is the disc. Bah. But there you see the goat head. And you know, goat heads in general, this comes from this source. Okay. Well, I guess this is enough information to understand the roots of Christmas. I think you got it. Otherwise, you can always turn back and start over and pause. So the conclusion must be that the biblical Jesus has never been born as a real person. The birth of Christ is an allegory of the birth of the newborn disk light, the spirit in the Milky Way center, also known as the Anointed One. Think about that. Okay, that's all for today. And as usual, if you enjoy my content, give a thumbs up. If not, feel free to ask me to hide in a cave. And as always, knowledge must flow free. However, Any donations are greatly appreciated, so I can buy whatever I like to eat. The link is in the description below. So I guess this will be the perfect opportunity to say Merry Christmas, everyone. Take care and see you in the next video. Bye bye.